Good drop last week. If I can take a moment to thank all of you who joined me last Friday for the live show. I generally don't go back and watch my videos in full once published, but as there was no editing to do, I watched in horror how I conducted myself during the live cross. I want to extend a truly heartfelt apology and promise that I will never, ever in any live cross call a whiskey a scotch and pour water into a perfectly fine whiskey. See what I did there? And we won't mention some of the other unsavoury acts that I was doing. Move on, nothing to see here. I did get a bit of an earful from the great man himself. He said, "I noticed you raised your glass and your pinky was raised like some spoilt little hipster." Good call, I must say. And to make matters worse, he said, "You didn't even say cheers at the end of the video." Sorry, Rudy. Can everyone just raise their glass and say cheers, Rudy? Cheers, Rudy. You happy? Jesus. I do have to admit I had so much fun on the live stream. Drinking at 7 in the morning knocked me around a bit and I had to have a bit of a lie down. And while this forced ISO is on, I'm going to continue doing them, and I'd like to call it SML, Saturday Morning Live. That is every Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Queensland time, and I will endeavour to get the times right, and I'll put it in the description, and I'll also leave a link in the description for those of you who would like the time zones converted to your country's time zone. So lock it in, 7 a.m. this coming Saturday, the 25th of April. Yes, Anzac Day, and we will respect those. I think it'll be a great way to start the weekend. Anywho, what is happening with my rich cousins across the paddock in England? You ain't going all communist over there, are you? I mean, check this out. Thames Valley Police responded to more than 1,100 reports of coronavirus-related breaches in 1 week. Seriously, are you all now dibby-dobbing on each other? The Thames Valley Police commander in charge of the force's response to the coronavirus issued a public message which included how police have responded to more than 1,100 reports of coronavirus-related breaches over the past week. Take a look.
Hello, I'm Chief Superintendent Christian Bunt.
Christian Bunt. That's an unfortunate name.
And I'm the Gold Commander for Thames Valley Police's response to the coronavirus pandemic.
I'm the Gold Commander. Is that the British equivalent of Space Force? So basically, you're largely irrelevant.
I want to start by saying how much I and all of my officers appreciate.
We appreciate you being non-dumb.
How the vast majority of our communities are understanding of the importance of staying at home to protect our critical NHS resources and save lives. So thank you. Given that, we can understand how frustrating it must be.
We also appreciate your feeling a tad cross
when you look around and you see what you perceive
when you see proper bellends
to be people not following these guidelines.
Boom! Guidelines are not law.
As you have been, at no small sacrifice to you and your way of life.
At no small sacrifice to yourself, we are sorry that your Ocado delivery was late.
We are receiving hundreds of reports every day relating to COVID-related breaches.
Please pause and just take a moment to revel in your own bombastic self-aggrandizing.
And over the last 7 days alone,
quite a few of you sniffling snitches are grassing up your neighbours.
We have deployed officers to over 1,100 incidents.
The same people who only 4 weeks ago were drinking Prosecco and discussing which grammar school Clementine and Hugo will be attending in September.
Of course, we must prioritise.
Come on, to be fair, that is a hard word to say. Prioritise. Oh, I know, you must have gone to the same school as this young girl.
Incidents as they come into us, and that includes putting these reports alongside our normal calls for service, including serious crime.
When we bust a cross-county lines drug trafficking ring wide open, we'll stop Janet taking that extra walk.
And responding to emergency and non-emergency calls.
Although Janet walking solo poses no threat to any of us, we are going to rake her ass over the coals. Twice.
It is essential that we continue to protect our communities in line with our normal policing duties. Where we have deployed
Space Force, it is to disperse gatherings, not lone walkers.
For COVID-related reports, these are primarily to group gatherings.
You prevented us eating all the donuts.
That are happening at that time. That is because they pose the greatest health risks by gathering and then dispersing back into our communities. If you see this and it is happening now, please call us on 101.
Oh, but please jam our 101 lines with your inane complaints about multiple meander abusers.
With minor breaches, such as people reporting those who have taken multiple walks in a day, for example.
Minor breaches? Like Janet taking multiple walks in a day is a minor breach? Except it's not. Janet is committing no crime, but when we have time, we are going to whoop her ass big time.
We may not be responding right there and then.
We're going to make sure your neighbours feel the full force of Space Force.
But that doesn't mean we are ignoring them. Your reports help to provide vital information around patterns and hotspots.
Actually, your snitching helps. People like Janet deserve no sympathy.
Which then go across to our local policing teams to inform their patrol plans. Please report minor breaches to us online.
Please report minor breaches. We should all be focusing on innocuous, mind-numbing shite at this time.
We want to make sure we are visible, provide reassurance, and be a deterrent to those who think these rules don't apply to them. Encouraging or enforcing the social distancing measures is a priority for the force, and we have dedicated patrols in place to do this. We keep this under constant review, and where we need to apply more resources, we have done that and we will continue to do so. Please be reassured that Thames Valley Police is playing its role in the public health emergency. To reiterate the Chief Constable's message this week, we will always look to engage, explain and encourage people to comply, but where we need to, we will enforce.
You'll enforce what? What? A guideline or a law?
And we have been doing that. Thames Valley Police currently has issued the second highest number of fines in the country. Thank you again for all that you are doing at this challenging time. You really demonstrate the community spirit at Thames Valley, an area that we are very proud to police. Thank you.
I think this officer has got it wrong, but in fairness, when you scratch the surface of incongruent information out there, I can see why he has. They may be under pressure from little mindset Englanders in their posh homes with nothing better to do than twitch their curtains. Hey Bill, I think we got a twitcher. This is why you can't trust the government. This is a good example of why it is so vital to keep our judiciary and government opinions and guidelines completely separate. The waters have been muddied from the start of the lockdown by political opinion and actual working pieces of legislation. From my understanding, I think another area of confusion which is frightening is that you people still consider English law to mean UK law, and it certainly does not. I do believe in fairness that the Thames Valley Police has seen how the video has been blown right out of proportion because their website clearly states, "We're asking you please to only call 999 if it is an emergency and 101 if it is urgent. If you can, use our online services. Please only contact us about breaches of the stay-at-home measures if you feel there is a significant issue or serious breach of the restrictions." Now, if you were looking over at your neighbour's legislation over there in Wales, you will see that the health protection coronavirus restrictions in Wales in the regulation of 2020, the Wales Statutory Instruments 2020 number 353, open brackets W.80, close brackets, restrictions on movement and gatherings during the emergency period, 8-1, during the emergency period, no person may leave the place where they are living without reasonable excuse. 2, for the purpose of paragraph 1, a reasonable excuse includes the need, and I'm only looking at section B here, to take exercise no more than once a day, either alone or with other members of the household. That's in Wales, not where you are. Phew. Now, if I may read out a comment that I received from one of you good people, and thank you in advance to Outboard Thailand. And it is the sentiment shared by many people who subscribe to this channel. He says, the elimination of smallpox virus from the world is directly related to the efforts from the WHO. The USA contributes less than $1 per person per year to the World Health Organization. WHO may have issues, but it being the only World Health Organization is the best. Before defunding it and eliminating it, you need to replace it with something, and it would be probably more realistic to sort out the problems with the existing one. I actually agree. My only concern is that we don't have an integrity commission overseeing this organisation. How do you sort out the problems when something as urgent and devastating as this was so ineptly handled? We followed their advice, and when we follow them and we condemn them for getting it wrong, they want to tell us to stop politicising it. By the way, USA is the biggest contributor to the WHO. Current data shows that 20% of the people contracting the virus will require hospital treatment. Worldwide average is 3 hospital beds per 1,000 population, with an average of 90% occupation, which means roughly 2 million hospital beds available worldwide, or a capacity of 10 million people contracting the virus before the medical system is unable to cope. The comparison of figures from Italy and USA suggests that when the medical system is overwhelmed, the death rate goes up from 4% to 12%. Bear in mind, this does not take into account people dying of other diseases that would have been treatable in hospital if there were an available bed. If unrestricted, an infected person will spread the virus on average between a half and 1.5 other people every day. So the world population would be infected in less than 60 days. Within 90 days, everyone would be either immune or dead, unless the virus mutates like, for example, the flu does every year. Placing your population under house arrest is not a long-term solution in a democratic country. Charging people with endangering public health needs to be proved that someone's health was actually put in danger. So the new laws are bullshit and the governments are way out of line. But this is the dilemma that governments have. How do you get idiots to do the right thing? And it always comes out that you punish the intelligent. I guess the thing that is getting way out of control is the unreasonable actions taken by state and local governments, as the case of this skate park in LA. As Casey Neistat put it, dozens of homeless people sleeping on the concrete within sight of the skate park. Why not take the time, energy and resources wasted on keeping a few kids from skateboarding and help the vulnerable who have nowhere to go? This is so stupid. And then he went on to say, to be clear, I support measures to discourage people from gathering. I just don't see why these resources are devoted to keep people from skating, but a blind eye when it comes to helping people who sleep on the street who are literally within a few hundred feet of this skate park. Let's just jump back over to the UK. See, then you have this admission by a police officer in the UK who freely admits saying he will make something up.
Mark, are you harassing me? What for? I haven't done nothing wrong. Tell these, mate. What one?
No, you done nothing wrong.
Your name, mate? Definition of harassment.
Give your details.
You want me to go? Give me the keys. Sit in your car. Shut up. And if you want to fucking step to me and pull through your chest out, something like that, then fine. I'll lock you up. We'll do that, shall we? I'll make something up. Public order. Screw up to a police officer. Should I do that? Who are they going to believe? Me or you? Who are they going to believe? Me or you? You can film all you want.
Yeah, I will do, mate. Don't worry about it.
If that officer is still an officer by the end of this video today, then as a force, you will have failed. Charge him with misconduct in public office. I know your entire country, as our country is under stress, but the admission by this officer that he would make something up and who are they going to believe is not in their training manual. It's an attempt towards potential perjury and preventing the course of justice. This is gross misconduct. A statement was made by the Lancaster Police that read, The matter is being investigated and has been referred to our Professional Standards Department. It is clear from the footage the member of the public deserves an apology, which we will attempt to provide him with today. This guy deserves more than an apology. You see, this is what happens when people's freedoms are taken away and the power has been handed over to the inexperienced who think that this is the way to handle decent human beings. I would love to know your thoughts, and as usual, like and share, and for my posse of trolls, hit that downvote button. It helps the algorithms. Now don't forget to join me this Saturday, April the 25th, 7 AM Queensland time, Australia, right here on SML. That is Saturday Morning Live with yours truly. I'm Gerald Pauschmann for The Point TV. Cheers, Rudy. Hey, I'm back for 1 second. Some people have asked me, what do I have in front of me here? If I can just show you, I have got my camera, which is wirelessly connected to this here. And so as you can see, I have a record button just on the side here. I have all the exposures right here, and also have a face detection that I can just punch on here, which will give me a little bit of a face detection. So I can see if I look fantastic. I should show you my setup. Nah, another time. Cheers, Rudy. That's good.